Hi, Brandon. It's good to see you in another class here. So I'm gonna try to help you out with some of the issues that you said you were having with the form. So you said you're having problems accessing a text box outside of looks like your button, and possibly also with methods. So looking at your screenshot here. I guess first and foremost, it looks like a scope issue. Um, so let me pull up mine. I kind of pulled up the same assignment. Um, so basically, when you're inside of your button, it's being passed the parameters, which is the form. So since it gets past the form and all the form components, then that is how you're accessing that variable. So if you try to access it without it being passed to something like you said, just inside of a namespace or inside of your class right here. So mine was called txt. Well, it doesn't know because it's outside the scope. Equals, and this is actually a string, so you don't want to just give it 100. It would be a string. But again, this doesn't really exist here. It exists inside your form, and it exists inside this method because the object that contains that information is sent here. If you did, for whatever reason, want to initialize it, like you said, with a default value, you could put it in your form where it's being initialized like this. So that would eliminate the scope issue because this field exists inside this form. So hopefully that clarifies it. Again, it's mainly because you can access it here because it's being sent here as a parameter, and you can't access it within the form itself outside of the form creation. Your other issue was using a method. So I'm not exactly sure why you were having an issue. So basically, I thought it would be best to just kind of make one and use it. So method's going to be static. I made my variables long, so long. This is the add, so add integers. So now we need the parameters, so you need to declare them. And then you want to make sure you have a return value, which it already has pretty good IntelliSense, the predictive text there. So again, that's inside of my form class. You make a method. Now we want to use it. So we're going to go down here and use it. So add integers, put the parameters in. And then this needs to be a toString. Boom. So again, maybe you forgot the return value. I'm not exactly sure why you were having an issue using the method, but hopefully this helps. Some other things I wanted to point out. I know this was week 2, so a lot of people maybe wasn't comfortable with the Hungarian notation quite yet, but so like in here you have this button 3 underscore click. Um, so all buttons should be named BTN under Hungarian notation. Kind of same thing with your text boxes, they should be TXT to follow those rules. Also seen using a try catch to do some input validation. Uh, the try parse was mentioned in the book as a really nice way to not have to use like catching an exception. So basically validating the data, which is a lot less heavy on the program. So to do that, you set up a Boolean and then use try parse, which looks at the text field. If it's valid, then this returns true, and at the same time you're capturing that valid output in a new integer and then using it later. So following this suggestion from the book, I found it really easy to validate input without having to go through all the try and exception catching. So if you look at the logic here, we check integer 1, integer 2, and then using an if statement to confirm they're both true, which actually this could read. This makes it a little easier to read, but it doesn't even have to say true because that's saying if this is true and this is true, then do this. Otherwise, it's not a valid integer. And then we're calling our method. So hopefully that wasn't too much, and hopefully that helped. So have a great day. Bye bye.